In 2018, I had insight for the first time, and this is when I realized that something with my mood and my health was very, very wrong. And for 2 years, I had been in and out of such horrible psychoses that I wasn't able to put the pieces together. I was never really sane at all. So I had some insight, and things were still very difficult, but I knew something was really wrong, and I had to figure it out, and I was 21 at the time. And so I started tracking everything. I started tracking my mood, all the meds I was taking. You can see I was taking benzos 5 times a day. They put me on benzos as an anti-manic. My sleep, how much sleep I got from my Oura ring, which I still wear, as well as my depression levels, and everything was high and everything was challenging. I was exercising, row 16 there, so I was doing some things well, but life was just very, very difficult. We tried TMS, which is this protocol where they put this shocky thing next to your head and zap you, and you go like, duh, 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 duh. It was really uncomfortable. My dad got a camper, and we stayed in the camper next to the hospital or whatever, because I had to do this all day, on and off. I couldn't work, I couldn't go to school. Full-time work was out of the question, off the table. My friends were doing internships and going to school, and I was not. I was going to treatment centers all over the country. Parents tried everything. We had the resources to try everything, and nothing helped me. It's funny, this plethora of psychological therapies that didn't help me at all. Like, I would go to these treatment centers, and they would feed me root beer and ice cream and do DBT with me 7 groups a day for 50 minutes each group. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's almost like a meme looking back at it. Like, what did you expect was gonna happen? Some things are good, so exercise, which I still do, weight training I do, meditation I do, and then, I do things differently now. But I was sick and nothing would work. And then in March, which is now, incidentally, in March, the days are becoming longer at a very fast rate. That's the second derivative for those of you who like math. So the days are getting really getting longer, but very fast. And I would go manic every March. I had my first episode in March of 2016. And March was always challenging, and I would have to up my medication dose to 20 milligrams of Zyprexa, which is this antipsychotic medication, or more, just to stay stable during March, just to prevent myself from sleeping less and less and then going into a manic episode. And I would watch it meticulously every March, and it was always nerve-wracking. I was prescribed benzos, Ativan. It took me 3 years to taper off Ativan. We cross-tapered to Valium. We got a compound pharmacy to prescribe 0.1 milligram Valium pills. I was taking it 5 times a day, tapering off slowly. I had horrific withdrawal. I had irritability. I had rage. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. I finally got off them in 2021. This was really unfortunate. This was very, very challenging for me. Okay, so this is the picture in 2020. I was still taking Valium. I had quit drinking and I had quit drugs in June of that year. I quit smoking. I was exercising. I was taking meds as prescribed. I was doing therapy, whatever, all these things they want you to do. And I was sick. And I was very, very sick. And it was going to be a difficult life. So things were going to be very challenging for me. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So my mom happened to find Dr. Chris Palmer's work in 2020. Dr. Palmer agreed to treat me pro bono to help out. Denise agreed to help with my nutrition. She's in the back, I think. I saw her. Charlie Foundation. And on January 4th, I went on a ketogenic diet. I don't remember what the macro makeup was exactly, except that I tracked my ketones and they were high. You can see they were up in the top there, 5 millimoles, 2.2. I mean, they were really, really high. I actually went into ketoacidosis at one point and got nauseous. And I had to work, I had to adjust, I keto flu a little bit, these things like that. But I really adhered to it for those first, 9 months, strictly. And I watched my symptoms go away. It was wild. I think my mom and dad and we couldn't even believe it. I mean, I could not believe it. You know, I mentioned March Madness. That's a funny joke, by the way. I I went through March on 5 milligrams, which is 25% what I had to take in previous years, and I had no symptoms. I had no symptoms. It was crazy. I couldn't even believe it. And I was just doing keto, and I was eating a lot of fat, and I was eating protein and swimming and lifting weights and doing this stuff.